Hey guys, what's going on? It's King Clutch here, and today guys, we're back on the NBA 2K20. I hope you all are having a great day and everything's going well for you guys. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how to make Vince Carter here on NBA 2K20, guys. Now this is a great all-around build you can have in 2K20. You know, and obviously Vince Carter was one of the best players we've ever had, the most exciting players to watch here in the NBA, most recent times here. So obviously you're going to want to make your build like Vince Carter. Now real quick, I also want to say a big thank you to you guys for hitting 900 subscribers. We got 1K coming here on the way, guys. Getting here on this build, we are going to make this a shooting guard right-handed jersey number 15. So I'm going to make this build more towards like Raptors Vince Carter. I'm going to go ahead and continue, make it a shooting guard, right-handedness. When it comes to the skill breakdown, I was like, maybe, you know, people, you could argue maybe pick pure finishing. Go ahead. But I'm going to pick finishing and shooting because Vince Carter was an offensive monster. Obviously, his dunks, I would imagine, is what everyone knows him for. But we're going to go this here, though. This will give us an 83 driving dunk here at the base height. I'm going to go with this one here just because I want to be able to shoot with this build, get those badges, and we also have decent playmaking stats. So we're going to go with the finishing and the shooting pie chart here. To this physical profile, I can see some people arguing to go for the pure speed because obviously this is a shooting guard. It's not as quick as a point guard, so like you can go, you know, pure speed, get your 85 speed. To me, when I think of a Vince Carter build, I'm pretty sure the dude has like a 99 vertical or something ridiculous. Like it's an extremely high vertical. For that reason, I'm gonna go with the agility and vertical pie chart. That gives us an 89 vertical here versus a 76. So that's a 13 difference vertical for a 4 difference in speed and a 4 excel. I feel like not going vertical and agility for this build is pointless. I feel like you almost need to. Now, my rule of thumb is when I create any builds that I want to be able to attack the rim with, I always pick this pie chart. If it's a guard or a wing, generally you want to have a high enough vertical to be able to jump high enough. When you're making more of an offensive threat or a play shot, you'd most likely go with this one here. We're going to go with the vertical in the speed pie chart. The attributes, what I'm going to do, we're going to max out this close shot, our driving layup, our driving dunk, and then I'm going to take this standing dunk up to when we can still get 16 finishing badges, so a 51. Now, what you could do is throw this up higher, but it doesn't give you any more badges, and you have to add under your post hook that way. So I'm just going to leave this at a 51 to give us that 16th finishing badge. Now I'm going to max out my mid-range, my 3-point, my free throw, and then I'm going to max out, they're not max out this post fade, but bring this post fade up to, we can get 17, which is going to be at this 68 for our post fade. Now I'm going to max up my pass accuracy, my ball handle, and I'm going to take this post moves. Now what you can do with these post moves is you could realistically max this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at a 65. You can take this up to 17 and give yourself 17, but I'm going to leave this at a 65 to give me 15. Now with these last 153 points, I'm going to spend these on perimeter D, lateral quickness, steal, and then these last ones on defensive rebound. And then what you could do is take this down to a 72. These last 10 points, you can see if you can add these somewhere. You could put them here to give yourself the 6th defensive badge. Actually, I just noticed that. But with these last 10, you could throw these on post hook to give yourself a 17th finishing badge. That's what I'm going to do. But you could either throw them on your finishing or your defensive categories to max all those badges. And that's going to give us 17 finishing badges, 17 shooting, 15 playmaking, and 5 defensive badges. So overall, I feel like this is a really well-rounded build. It's a nice, well-rounded build. And those last 10 points, I'm just going to say this, if you guys aren't following like one of my videos or any other videos you guys see, I always like to tweak with the attributes. When you get the things you know you'd like to, always tweak with it and see if you can find that happy medium to where you can maybe get another badge point somewhere else. Like, I feel like that's a big thing people forget when they make builds in 2K. We're going to go ahead and go with that. And for the body shape, I'm going to go solid. I feel like that's kind of what defines Vince, but again, you could pick whatever you'd like for this. This really has no impact on your build. Now, I've seen Vince Carter, he's like listed as 6'6". I'm going to make the build 6'6", but in all honesty, if you are making this build for a park build and not planning on grinding this thing all the way to a 99, make the build 6'5". The reason being is you want that driving dunk at an 83, so you'll get your contact dunks at an 8 or a 97 or 96. I can never remember if you get a +1 for your 95 overall. I always forget. But regardless, you're going to want to make the build 6'5", because if you don't want to wait all the way to 99 overall to get your contact dunks, because your contact dunks are the thing that you want with this build. When you think of a Vince Carter build, you want to get your contact dunks. I'm going to make the build 6'6", but in all honesty, what I would do is make the build 6'5" if I was making this build for like a comp build or a park build to have fun. So just making the build 6'5", I'm just going to do it 6'6" because that is what his height is listed as. You will get a different build name making it 6'5". You'll either get a facilitating finisher and offensive threat making it 6'5", depending on what you do with the wingspan. I've seen on 2K he's like 205. What I'm going to do is just take him down to 207 because this gives a +1 to our excel, and and that way we don't lose anything. If we go down, we lose a strength. We gain a vertical, so really, if you don't care much about your strength, you could just go ahead and go with this like 201 or 205. I'll just go 205, I guess. But really, the weight, it doesn't make too much of a difference. I would go lower. I wouldn't go higher. You want to be able to attack the rim, but you don't want to go so low to where you get bodied and pushed around. So I'm just going to go 206. That one and that strength, I'd rather get that vertical. But real quick, I want to talk about this wingspan. So Vince Carter's wingspan is listed online as 83 inches. So I want to show you guys this. If I make this build base wingspan here at this 82.7, which is a good choice. I honestly feel like this is most likely, even if you make the build 6'5". I just want to show you guys the build name, what happens with this. So realistically, what I would do is leave it in the middle. I would not go positive. I would go 82.7 for the 6'6", and I would leave it in the middle for the 6'5" as well. But what I would probably do is go down to 80.9. I'd go down twice. I won't go down anymore, and really, you could really realistically take this down to 79.9 if you're going to go 80.9. But I don't want to just take a hit in my wing and my actual arm size, because I like having the longer arms on players. Realistically, I don't like having the short arms. That's just my opinion, and I feel like bringing it down it's not close to what Vince Carter's wingspan was, and I feel like it alters your gameplay. Like if you're going for a play shot, you might as well minimize it. But realistically, I don't like having the short arms. That's just me. I feel like they help out defensively. Having longer arms, obviously, you can get better shot contested things. I'm going to show you guys this wingspan real quick. So I make this build base wingspan 82.7. And for the takeover, it's obvious. I'm going to go slashing. I feel like you could make an argument for shot creating. Realistically, that's the one I would not pick. No matter, out of these three, I would not pick shot creating. That would be the last one I would pick. I would pick either playmaking, spot up, or slashing. I'm going to go slashing takeover because for a Vince Carter build, slashing takeover to me seems like the obvious choice. Now, we're going to go slashing takeover, guys. And then for this build name, we are going to get a facilitating finisher similar to Tracy McGrady, Zach LaVine, and Luka Doncic. Now, I wanted to show you guys something. So we did get this facilitating finisher. This is what I'm going to go with for the build, but I just want to take this back and go back to this wingspan and show you guys. Now, with this wingspan, I'm just going to take this down to an 80.9, and I want to show you guys something. I'm going to pick slashing takeover again. And now for this build name, we are getting a 3-level score. How the wingspan can change the name of the build. If you make it 6'5", I'm pretty sure you get a facilitating finisher and offensive threat. And then as you guys can see, the similarity to is the same. I know that he is listed as a scoring machine, but I feel like almost a facilitating finisher or a 3-level scorer is what would define him more just off of build names. Facilitating finisher, which is the median wingspan. Now for these 5 defensive badges, what I would do is I'm going to put these on Intimidator, and then clamps, and then chase down artist. I feel like Vince Carter should have chase down artist. That man could jump. So we're going to go with that, but really you could go interceptor, pickpocket, or pick dodger if you prefer that over chase down artist. Intimidator and clamps are pretty apparent though. You're going to use those. Chase down artist, I'm pretty sure Vince Carter on his actual build has chase down artist. I think on like gold or silver. I'm going to go with the bronze chase down artist just because I feel like for this build it would be good to have because you're kind of more going for an athletic build. Now for these playmaking badges, guys, I'm going to put handles for days on gold, quick first step on gold, and space creator on gold. And again, those are badges I just like to have, and I feel like for any build you're going to want to be able to try to create your own shot with, you're going to want those. I'm going to put bailout on bronze. Again, bailout is definitely a badge I like having. It's worth putting it on bronze. I would suggest trying it if you guys have not used it. Put it on bronze, and if you see there is somewhat of a noticeable difference when you go out for passes and things to pass out of layups or dunks, I feel like it definitely works. I'm going to put downhill on silver. Granted that this build, it's not slow, but it's not like a 95 speed build. I feel like downhill is something you may want, so if you're getting the ball, you can, run out in transition. I feel like that's a good badge to have. Now with these last 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put stop and go tight handles and unpluckable all on bronze. But again, you don't need to use those. These are just some suggestions of badges I feel like you could try and experiment with to see what this build and see which ones you like. When it comes to these shooting badges, I'm going to put quick draw on silver. Again, that's my opinion. You could put it wherever you'd like. Whatever jump shot speed you're used to, go ahead and go with. For the rest of these shooting badges, I'm going to put range extender on Hall of Fame. That's a no-brainer. I'm going to put difficult shots on gold. I feel like, you want to be able to shoot runners with this build. It's a nice badge to have to be able to, shoot runners, and it also works if you're shooting runners from threes and things. It just seems to come up a lot. So now I'm going to put catch and shoot and corner both on bronze. Again, some people think these are placebos. Me personally, I think it helps having them at least on bronze. You maybe not need to go higher. Overall, those are nice badges to have. Corner, especially from the corner. I've noticed a big difference between having corner on builds that can't shoot and then putting it on bronze. You seem to green a lot more shots. So we're going to go with those. And then I'm going to put Deadeye here on gold. I feel like that's a good badge to have. That, again, helps, shoot from anywhere. And then with these last 3 points, I feel like what you could do is possibly put Volume Shooter on or Hot Zone Hunter. If you don't have Hot Zones, don't use Hot Zone Hunter. You could also use Green Machine. I'm going to use Hot Zone Hunter. But again, those are some other badges that you could throw on. And making this build 6'6", you may want to shoot fades, so you could contemplate putting deep fades on. Finally, when it comes to these finishing badges, I feel like contact finisher on Hall of Fame, I don't even have to talk about that. But fancy footwork here on gold, you could easily put this on Hall of Fame. I just kind of want to see where we end up at the end when I'm done with all these points. Giant Slayer on silver, again, that's a good badge to have. Relentless on silver, Slithery on silver, and consistent on silver. Now we have these last few points left. Now, what you can do with these is I feel like you may not need all of these, but I personally like having these badges that I have here, all on at least having them. The one I possibly would say you could make an argument for not having any 4 of those silver ones, to be honest. But when it comes to this, what you could do is I feel like there's a few choices. You could put fancy footwork up to Hall of Fame. You could put Acrobat on because I feel like Acrobat helps just with layups in general, because having Acrobat and fancy footwork seems to help. They seem to work better when you have them together. That is another option. Fast break finisher, if you do not have your takeover booster to help get your takeover quicker, that's a good option. And then as well as Lob City finisher. I feel like Vince Carter should have Lob City finisher, but with this build, I feel like you may not need it because sometimes lobs in 2K are like extremely easy to catch. Other games are really hard. So either way, it doesn't make much of a difference. I guess what you put these last points on. I'm going to put fancy footwork on Hall of Fame and Lob City on bronze. I feel like there's some times where I catch lobs every single time and they're good throws. There's other times where I catch awful throws that are lobs, and other times where I can't catch one that's right in front of my face. I'm just going to put it on there, but you could go ahead and put this on fast break finisher, Lob City, Acrobat, really wherever else you'd like. But this is what I would do for these finishing badges, guys, and this is how I feel like you can create a Vince Carter build here in NBA 2K20. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe to see more NBA 2K20 builds. But anyways, guys, it's been King Clutch here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Anyways, have a great rest of your day, and peace out, guys. Thanks.